Good afternoon, Year 11s, and welcome to Thursday's lesson on English. I just want to talk you through our slideshow today on issues and text type and just kind of go over some of the work that we need to be doing. Okay, first of all, our learning intention: how can I identify and write about the issue and text type of a persuasive text? Our success criteria: I can identify the issue in a range of texts. I can distinguish between different text types. And very importantly, I can write formally about issues and text types because that's what you're going to be doing for your assessment at the end of this unit. So what is an issue? An issue is an important topic or problem for debate or discussion. An issue will always be on an unresolved topic, as here. Watch the video to get an understanding. So it's quite long, the video, and the first 4 minutes is probably the most relevant to what you want to be doing. Thinking about for this unit anyway. So an issue is an important topic or problem or debate for discussion. So something at the moment in relation to the coronavirus, states having different opinions to when schools should be going back than federal governments will be one. One of the past ones that isn't so much an issue anymore, it would have been with the marriage equality debate, which a couple of years ago would have been all the headlines around the newspapers and news. But at the moment, we would say that's something that's fairly resolved. Not for some people, but on the whole, it would not be a current issue. So what is an issue? So this is really important. Naming a current issue that you've heard about from the media. Throughout this unit, we're going to be looking at issues. If you can give me an idea of some issues that are important to you guys, these can become the topics that we will talk about in class. So if you've got any good articles or ideas that you want us to discuss as a class, this will be a really great opportunity. I have a friend of mine who's a journalist that you met him at the start of the year. He's had some articles out. I'm going to actually put some of those up throughout this unit as well for your reference. Okay, the first thing you're going to be doing is finding the issue in political cartoons. Political cartoons are great fun and really important way of making commentary, a very creative way of making commentary. So in each of the next 3 slides, you will find a political cartoon. You need to identify the issue in each cartoon. You should write your answer using full sentences or a full sentence. Again, you will write these into the text boxes. It should allow you to do so today. Sorry that it didn't work so well for some people yesterday or in Monday's class. So yeah, this is really important. You may find it helps to include the word whether. For example, source 1 depicts whether countries should support asylum seekers by taking them in. Whether gives you that idea that it is still up in the air. So there's 2 sides to it. So should we take in asylum seekers or should we not? This is the EU here, obviously saying going back to these asylum seekers. That's what this image is doing here. So we've got 3 more. We've got this political cartoon here. So source 2 depicts whether. This is your starting sentence here. So this gets you used to using that idea of whether. Okay. So you need to analyze this cartoon. Similarly, this one, and then moving on. Okay. I really like this slide here. So this is biased perspectives on issues. So some persuasive texts, and this is a range of texts. Sorry, it's Americanized language up here at the top, but these are Australian news outlets. So basically, you've got the center here. This is, if you don't know the difference between left and right, now is a good time, and especially in this unit, to go and do some research on what it means to be politically left or right, or lean left or lean right. This is your center stuff, which kind of gives you, I'm going to say the news straight. So this is the news without adding too much color to it, let's say. Leaning right has more of an economic agenda, and you will see the newspapers there very famously: Herald Sun, Daily Telegraph, and right over here Daily Mail and Sky News are some of those ones. You've got your lean left here, and The Guardian is one I would know, The Monthly, and then right over here to red flags and green left, and anybody that goes to university will meet these guys quite often. They have quite a bit to say on current issues, actually, yeah. So let's move on. So text types, let's move. So that was issues. So text types, is the second part of our lesson today. When you analyze a persuasive text, one of the things you need to consider is the text type. This is because different text types are written for different purposes and aimed at different audiences. A strong analysis of a persuasive text will consider all of these factors when discussing the intended effect of the author's choices. And we'll come to this a little bit later on in the unit, but this is hugely important. Yeah, let's go through. So you've got your letter to the editor. You've got some questions here. So basically, I want you to go through each of the different text types and answer the questions as they go through. Photograph, opinion piece, what effect do you think it's meant to have the audience? So just go through the questions. Editorial, which is different than a letter to the editor. This is coming directly from the editor. The next one, you have an opinion piece, which is opinions from certain figures who write regularly for newspapers, so regular columnists. Some of you will know the names of some of the famous ones. I think Andrew Bolt is quite a famous one in Australia for his opinion pieces. The next slide is cartoon. So you've done some work in cartoons. So again, using the tips outlined above, describe the cartoon as shown in source 5. Yeah, so it's really important to be able to describe these cartoons. Okay, so using this kind of language, it really will help with your when you're coming to writing your essay. Photographs. So photographs certainly say stuff in newspapers, and they're there for a reason. Anybody that studies photography or has any passing interest in photography will know that newspapers design these things to portray a certain message. So this question is asking, how does a close-up of this man's face connect to the article, and what is the effect? Really be thinking about what this effect is. What is the newspaper trying to get across with this? Okay, there's quite a few slides in today's, so I know these will probably run over time, but please do get this stuff done, okay? So this is writing about text, the issue and text type together, okay? So basically, when you're writing an argument analysis essay, you will be expected to identify the issues and the text type in your introduction, okay? In the article on the right, the text type is an editorial, okay? So you need to start understanding what these things look like. So when you're in an exam situation, you will know what you've been given. Is it a speech? Is it a cartoon? Is it an editorial? Is it an opinion piece? This one here is an editorial. So we know this because rather than an individual's name, it's the name of the newspaper is listed by the byline. In addition, the newspaper's masthead is shown as the top. So basically, this is the editor speaking on behalf of the newspaper. The newspaper is taking a position. And this usually, it comes out weekly as far as I know, but can be massively influential in things like leadership races, like when we're having an election. If a newspaper picks a side, it often will tip the balance and get a certain party across the way. And if your newspaper like the Herald Sun leans heavily to the right, there will be a type of politics that they will be aiming for. So it's not always what it seems, or as straight down the line as it seems. So the issue is whether, in this particular one, is whether VCE students should be allowed to engage in mock-up date pranks. Okay, so that's what we've got, the text type and the issue. In our next slide, we show how you can write about this. Okay, so text type, editorial, Herald Sun. Issue, whether VCE students should be allowed to engage in mock-up date pranks. So an example sentence that would start your essay, and this is the beginning of you writing for your essay. In the editorial entitled "Mock-up Day Pranks Getting Serious," that's the title of it, published on 22nd of October 2010, the Herald Sun weighed in on the issue of whether or not VCE students should be allowed to engage in mock-up day activities. So that's a really stock standard introductory sentence to analytical essay writing. Okay. Moving on, your turn. So I've given you 3 opportunities to have a go at this yourself. So you're going to get the text type, you're going to get the issue, and you're going to write your own sentence on this issue. So a starting sentence. So use this template. I know you don't have the date. If you want to make up a date, you can make up a date. Does this one have a date? No, this one does actually have a date. So this cartoon, you might leave the date out in that one, but you can include the other aspects of it. Okay, this one does include date, but again, same thing. Text type, issue, give me your sentence. So you have 3 of those to do. Okay, final thing I want you to do is a reflection. So what is one thing you learned or found useful for this lesson? What is one thing you're still finding challenging? And what is your overall goal for this unit? This is getting you to what skill you most want to develop. This is getting you to reflect on the stuff that you did in the last lesson. I want you to continue to think about that as we move forward. As I said during the slideshow, I want you to get this finished. So if you don't get finished in the allotted time, and this video has gone on longer than I expected it to, there's quite a few slides in there. Please do get it finished before you submit it to me, and get it submitted before tomorrow's class. Okay. Have a good rest of Thursday, and I will chat to you guys tomorrow. Okay. Good luck.